All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. We have a microphone. So my mic may die today. So somebody's job, I don't know who it is, somebody's job today is me keeping an eye on the mic. So if I lose power here, let me know. I forgot to charge it while I was gone. So I charged it for about 10 minutes for the show starts. Hopefully it lasts for 45 minutes. But if it doesn't, I'm sure somebody will start screaming at me. Anyway, good morning. And welcome back. For me, it's been a week. I was in California for a week. I was down at LinkedIn in Carpinteria, California, filming my newest class. I don't know if you know, I teach classes for LinkedIn Learning. About one a quarter I do. So I went down there and I filmed for a week in the studios and stuff. So it's pretty cool. But I'm back now, so I'm back to normal for at least this week and then up to next Thursday, because you know what happens next Thursday. Next Thursday we are on a plane to Vegas to do the big Crash for the Cure event. All right. Let's jump into the show here, and then hopefully have some good stuff to say today. I think I was thinking about Ken's thing. I want to get into that a little bit if we can. So let's jump in here and do this guy right here. And by the way, we're doing David and I are going to do a bridge live. The bridge started out as a all-day workshop at Casino Quest, and we've distilled it down into a couple of things. One is I do it every day here for about a minute. Dave and I are going to do about a 1 or 2 hour version of this together during Crash for the Cure. And we're going to also then record at the 8-hour one while I'm down there. And we'll have that available for like a side purchase kind of thing, like on the Nexus thing. So anyway, let's remember this. And the reason why I say this every day, I think it's important to say this. Sometimes I forget. Not that I want you to just focus on bankroll and risk and all this stuff. It's that there's a lot of bullshit on YouTube out there. There's a lot of crap that you'll find on YouTube. And speaking of crap, Bone Thrower's back. There's another example of it, right? You got to watch all these shows with like your life in a filter. Like filter the shit you're seeing through this. What's my bankroll? How do I view risk? Can I identify opportunity to leave or stay in? Do I have the discipline to stop playing when I'm up? Do I have a goal? And when I hit the goal, do I lock it before I either keep playing or not? Do I have my emotions under control? When you watch somebody play and they just go, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put 160 across. We're going to press 5 straight times because we're so awesome at throwing the dice. And we're going to win every time, right? You can't allow that bullshit to feed into your life, right? This is the matrix by which you go, I can see reality, right? Like I told you before, my dad used to always say one of my favorite sayings of my dad, who passed away a couple years ago, was learn how to separate the fly shit from the pepper. That's what the bridge slide is about. When I show that every day, it's hopefully you can separate the bullshit out there from the reality out there, right? There's always a nugget of truth in everything that we see on these shows, but most of the time people are just out there having a good time, doing their thing, and a lot of it's just not real. So filter that as you go through. All right, let's get into it. Crash for the Cure, look what we did. Raised more money over the weekend while I was gone. Didn't even do any shows, and we raised another couple $100. Now we're at $2,900. We're almost at $3K. Wouldn't it be cool to get down there with like $5,000 raised or 10 before the thing even started? Wouldn't it be great? Head over to crapsforthecure.com. You can buy a ticket for the event. We still have openings. And by the way, there's the wristband. You can see the wristband. It's 2025. It's Craps for the Cure. That's what you get for your $100. $100 buys you a nice wristband. But it gets you into the building at Casino Quest. You can watch the whole show, hang out with all of us, and you're going to get to play on the private table. We have a private table set up for 7 to 9 Friday and Saturday. So if you're coming to the event, on the table you go, right? You can fund the dogs. And again, we've raised enough money in the last 2 years to purchase 2 dogs. Now we're going to fund their training. So all the money this year goes to those dogs' training, the actual trainers for the dogs, plus supplies, food and balls and harnesses and all the stuff they need. Go to the website and you can buy specific things for the dogs, which is beautiful. And of course, if you want to buy the big stuff, like the felt that Gargoyle donated and like the Lessons with Heavy, jump on into those. You can see we've already got a couple of raffle sales, $100 in raffle sales so far. I expect the raffle sales to be the things that kind of jump us up, right? $50 gets you a chance at a felt that's probably 30 or 40 years old from Gargoyle. So anyway, there's the CFTC update for today. I'm going to quick note about the channel programming here. And I think I mentioned this a little while back, and I'd love to get you. Yeah, so YouTubers, this is true, Waylon. There are some guys out there, right, that are millionaires that are hired by the casinos to show the max press strategies. I'm telling you, that a lot of that is a stroke job. It really is. It's all bullshit. I mean, it's either the casino's paying for it, which makes it bullshit, or it's bad for you to watch. Like that's the kind of stuff that it's like gambling porn. You shouldn't watch it. It's so unrealistic. It just chaps my ass when I watch people watch it. Anyway, here's what's happening with our channels. I'm working on this through the next month or so. I'm going to transition Pro Craps away from being Pro Craps. It's going to go away. It's going to be called one of these things. I don't know what to call it yet. Pro Gambler TV, I'm thinking of. Gambler's Edge Academy, I'm thinking of. The EV Academy, or the Casino Gaming Academy. I'm leaning towards the first and the last. Pro Gambler TV makes it pretty synergistic with Casino Gaming TV. They feel like they're kind of the same thing. Although Casino Gaming TV and the Casino Gaming Academy also feel pretty synergistic. Like those are two good, like here's the channel where we do live fun. Here's the channel where I do the teaching. And they're both casino gaming, right? Although I do like having pro in the title because then I can do pro roulette as a playlist, pro craps as a playlist, pro bach as a playlist, right? I can keep the threads going with the name pro. So I don't know where I want to go yet with the name, but it's one of those four of the top ones. And I'll show you some logos here in a minute. This channel will be used for all the live stuff except for this show. I'm going to move this show over there. But this channel will be like Friday Night Fights, Fantasy Craps, just live stuff, right? So like, I don't know, if we want to test the strategy out live, it'll be over here, right? I like Casino Gaming Academy too, Joe. I'm kind of there. I don't know. I'll show you some of the logos that we came up with, and I like the Pro Gambler one, actually. It's kind of cool. But I feel like Pro Gambler TV and the CG Academy are the two that really speak the most to me. Anyway, although the Gambler's Edge Academy logo looks pretty cool. Anyway, the new channel will have things like this show. I'm going to move over to there because that'll be a good half-hour show for that channel every day. I'll do the Daily Paycheck over there, and I'm going to do it in other games. I'll do Daily Paycheck, but I'll do it with craps, roulette, bach, and blackjack. I'll do them all. I'll deal them all. And I've felt on the way, so I'll be able to deal and do that with all the different games, just like we did before, but just having different fun. I will do a specific crap show, cocktails or coffee and craps, depending on the day. But we'll do a regular craps show, so that'll be like what it used to be. And of course, the gambling school stuff. Whenever I have a thought on envelope management and that kind of stuff, that'll always go over there. So that new channel is going to be generalized gambling with some specific craps. This one's going to be just live stuff. Here's some of the logos that we came up with. And I'd like to get your thoughts on these things because I really like the Pro Gambler TV one. Looks just cool. Like it's simple, but it's super cool, right? It's the right colors. It just looks nice. Gambler's Edge Academy is cool. That one picture that same logo, but being Casino Gaming Academy, right? I can do the same sort of thing. I really like those. EV Academy, I'm just not sure about. It feels just wrong. But anyway, that's what I'm thinking about doing. Is that other channel will be all the games, not specifically just craps, but I will have a craps thread or a craps set of playlists over there. So anyway, I know Joe put a thought out there. What do you all think about the logos and about the potential names for these things? What do you think about that? Just give me your general thoughts in chat. Maybe if you're watching later, because it is a holiday today, drop it in the comment section. All right, I appreciate that, and appreciate the things. David, I really appreciate that. Like, I really do enjoy doing all this. I do this because it's fun for me. I really actually have a good time doing this. And it's. Remember, I told you Gargoyle sort of recentered me one time. I was like, man, I'm just getting burnt out on the shows, and he's like, just do the show you want. Like, he's like, do the show you want to watch. I'm like, that's what I'm kind of thinking of. So anyway, Joe's a good idea. Joe likes number 1 logo, the Programmer TV with the number 3 name. Okay, that's interesting. Wait, number 3 name. You like EV Academy? Let me go back to screen. You like EV Academy better or Casino Gaming Academy? I like Casino Gaming Academy with the Programmer TV logo. I can see that being a thing. That's cool. Anyway, I'm going through it. Lou didn't like any of them. I got to keep it simple. But remember, the thing with YouTube channels is you got to keep it simple because it's got to be like fit that little circle, right? It's got to fit good in the circle. So something like this one would fit good in the circle, right? Or so with this one here, like the books would fit good. I like the trip with the books. Actually, it's kind of cool. All right, we'll keep talking through it as we go. Yeah, EV does mean electric vehicles, right? And I agree with you, Jed. That's why I was working and I'm like, I can't get around that one that much. It sounded cool in my head when I first thought of it. I'm like, nah, doesn't work good. All right, so Ken went down. Down goes Frazier. I can't believe he didn't get to 100. I was so rooting for that thing to get to 100. I was like, somebody has to go 100-0 legitimately live, you know? It would have been super freaking cool if he had done it, but it went down. And I had this question. I called Ken afterwards. I called Ken, actually, I didn't watch it go down live. What happened was I saw the video he put out. I didn't see the video. I saw the title come through my phone. And the title was Ken Unfiltered Retirement Plan. I'm like, oh, if he did an unfiltered, he must have lost, right? Then I wound back my feed and I saw that he had number 95, whatever. And then I read the comments like, oh shit, he lost. So I went and watched it, you know. And then I watched the thing. And I called him afterwards. I'm like, man, I was like, I should have called Waylon too. Waylon, I probably owe you a phone call. I'm really kind of bummed that it didn't make 100. I mean, how cool would it have been to go 100 and freaking out, right? But then I got talking to Ken. And I'm like, you know, here's my one bitch about the whole thing. The one beef I have about the entire thing was this. Was it really the strategy or was it Ken that was 100-0? And I can loop Waylon into this list as well, right? Was it their strategy that went almost 100-0, or was it them? And the reason why I say that, I'm going to show you the table here in a minute. 100 is a nice even number. It's arbitrary, but it's even and it sounds cool. But my question is this: was it the strategy, or was it the player? And we'll talk about that here in a minute when I get onto my table. But some of the big takeaways were, and I think Ken brought this up during his show, I think this is important: small wins versus huge losses. Okay? You can, and I've said this before, I think the reason why we started the whole Fantastic Five thing, right, was, and again, Ken and I are in lockstep on this point. If you have the balls to leave when you're up, and I assert everybody, even Vegas Day Tripper, is up at some point during their session and doesn't always leave when he's up. Can you agree with that, VDT? Right? Some days you're not. Some days you're up and you don't leave, and you leave with a loss, right? Most people are up, don't leave. And so Ken was like, hey, let's do a thing. Let's do a thing where we prove it. If you take small wins and you're satisfied with what you got and you get the hell out of there, you can be okay. This is what stop loss zero looks like. I say this all the time. Stop loss zero is my way, right? He won about $200 95 times. What does that equal? If I do 95 times 200, that's $19,000, right? Now he won more than that, but that was about an average, right? He lost one time, 10K, right? And actually, the 10K should have been 5K. He went in for a little bit more. Now I would have been at 10K too because I compound my bankrolls. But anyway, 119, lost 10, up 9 is what it should have been. I think he was up like $3,500 or something like that, right? This is the thing. Small wins, if you have the balls to leave and if you're not greedy, they can add up. And what I say all the time, right? My secret sauce is what? What's one of John's secret sauce recipes? Win more often than you lose. Win more when you win than when you lose, right? Win more often and win a little more than your losses are. Here's a case where he won 95 times, lost once. One big ass loss. Gobbled up half his wins, but he still ends up ahead, right? That's an interesting lesson to take. Those little wins add up over time. They really do add up over time. And 95 sessions seems like an awful lot, right? You can look at that as 95 shooters, potentially, right? Or 95 casino buy-ins, right? If you're in Vegas for the weekend, that could be, 8 sessions a day for 4 days while you're there, right? You could do that in 3 weekends in Vegas, what he just did, right? It's very compelling. I don't think it's guaranteed, but it's compelling to me that that's actually not provable is the wrong word, but you watched it happen. You watched it happen live. Okay. Now, the other takeaway was the envelopes method. We're going to talk more about envelopes later in the week. I'm going to launch with David. We're going to launch the part of the Casino Quest app that I'm running. We're going to launch that this week, I think. I'm part of it. And I will show you the envelopes that are built into that app. It's basically what we have on Casino Gaming TV now, which is the different bank accounts where you can, like, digitally type it in your envelope system. And you should do the envelope system in the app while you're playing fake games. When you're playing on the app, when you're playing crapsy with people, whatever you're doing, use the envelopes in the game to kind of track that stuff. Get in the habit of stashing money here, 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 and here. And it works. It works. It's no different than saying, I got 10 grand in the bank and everything goes into the same account. And you just build or shrink the account. It's a mental game that you play. I replenish my master account. I put some into the fun account. I put some into my expenses account. I put some into my experimental account. When you segment your money, you can see where it is. If your main account goes down, you can replenish it if you need to. The mental game that the envelopes help you play makes you a better player. I say this all the time in the bridge. There's no such thing as a good gambler, but you cannot be a bad one. And I think that by taking the lessons that Ken and Waylon are teaching with the small wins and being satisfied, and with what I've been teaching this whole time, which is this multiple bankroll envelope, segment your money system, you can come out ahead more often than you normally would. And you can get a grip on things. It's an important deal. Now, to my question, was it strategy that won this thing, or was it the player that won it? Right? And that's the ultimate question here, because I'm going to switch to my table view. I think my camera might be working. Let's find out if it's working. Let's see. Oh, I got to go here. Hold on. Let's go there. Does that work? There we go. All right. I want to run this out. And Waylon, hopefully you're still here in the chat. And I want to get you get your chat in while I'm doing this stuff. All right, because I want to kind of get into the strategy here, just on a very basic level, because the things that I think people tend to forget. I need to get some chips. So give me a second here. When they're watching, and I'm highly attuned to this kind of stuff. So to me, it matters that we kind of get it right. So when we say the strategy, I'm going to get not all the money that I need here. So you can just kind of ignore all this bullshit here. I'm going to get like $200 in greens or whatever. Maybe I'll get 800 in green. And let's get a bunch of blacks. Let's just get like a couple thousand in black. I'm just going to do it a couple times. There's 2,000 in black, and I got, let's see, 200, 400 green. So there's $2,400. Okay. Now, here's the thing with this strategy, and I want to talk about the strategy. And we had the same problem we had with the Skill 66 a while back, and I want to make sure this is a sane point. I'm going to roll dice today, so let's get that. We got a point of 6. Now, here's the big thing. You're going to come out with the 150, right? And here's the strategy. 150 here and lay 300 here. If you're Ken. If you're Waylon, you don't lay. But if you're Ken, you lay. Here's number 1, right? What is the system? Is the system the strategy that, or is the strategy that? And Ken punts a little bit and says, well, it's up to the player. So here's my first point. Is it the strategy that was 95-0, or was it the player that was 95-0? Ken decided to do it this way versus Waylon's way, right? If we did it Waylon's way the whole time, would Ken have been 95-0? That's question number 1. Ken did this, and it helped him out a lot. That saved his ass a lot of times. That's the first question, right? The strategy has options, right? Which means it relies on the player to make okay decisions. So here's the first variable in the mix. You can't go out there and just play the strategy. Anybody who says, I'm going to go out and play the retirement strategy. Okay, which version are you doing? This one or that one? Are you doing it at Bubble Craps, where you're at $15 here and you're at $30 here? Or are you doing it at this level? Because you got to make sure you can do that basic math, right? So there's your first question, right? Are you playing it? Are you actually playing it? And which way are you playing it? Now, let's catch a point. Let's catch our don't point. The don't point goes behind the 9, and this leg can come back down. Beautiful. Okay. Now this is your nightmare. Your 6 is still your nightmare, but you're going to go out there like a boss, right? You're 160 across or whatever close to 160 is, right? We'll get some nickels here. Right? Now, you get your next hit. Hopefully it's a hit. It's a 4. Fantastic. It pays 50 for 1. 50 for 1. I'm going to get my $4 change off that nickel. Okay, so we win 50 bucks. That's awesome. We have a no 9. I should have had money here, not here. That was my fault. Okay, now we come back, and I'm going to put the 50 bucks here that we won. We won 50 bucks. It's 49, but we'll call it 50, just for grins. Now in the 9, you can do whatever you want to. Okay, with 150 against the 9, you can place it for 125. Isn't bad, to win 150. That's fine. You can do a straight up, maybe right here, and go for the right side. Right? Again, player's choice. You can play it for a full 9. You can play it for a partial 9. Guarantee a tie. Right? You can lay odds up there. Right? You can put up, whatever you want to put up in odds, 150 in odds, right? To win 100. You can pull that down. You can let it ride. And again, this is why I asked the question I asked earlier. Did the strategy win or did the player win? I forgot the field. Yeah, I forgot the field. Does the strategy win or does the player win? That's the question, right? Again, because you can lay, you can place, you can let it ride. Either way. Let's place it. Whatever, for 1 1/4, right? Where I'll win a quarter on the 7, or we'll tie on a 9, right? Or we'll win a quarter either way. That's okay. You're going to lock up a quarter. Do this, we lock up a quarter, right? Let's just play it out. We'll lock up the quarter either way. There's a 9. Perfect. You lose 150, you win 175. So our net there is a $75 win, okay? That's awesome sauce, as they say. Right, there's almost my money back minus $1. I have my original bankroll back and 75 bucks. Okay, fantastic. So risking 150, risking 300, risking 150 while you're out here, right? That's all at risk the whole time. The reward is 75 bucks. Okay, so if you lose, you should be up 90. You're right because of the field. If you lose, here's the question: if you would have lost in here, and I got a time crunch, so I'm going to simulate the loss. Okay, let's go out again. There's 75 bucks. We know that on the best case scenario, it's $75 here plus. You're right. I should have had 15 to field. We should have been at 90, right? We should be here. My bad. Okay, we should be at 90. I'll put that up there. If it goes down, right? If it goes down here or here, and again, here's the question. Let's get another point. Maybe we'll go down 7. Oh, here comes all the 7s. 6. Another point is 6. We'll do the 150. And again, we're ugly here. Let's pretend that we lose this. Because I could be here all morning and never roll another 7, right? I'll just roll for the hell of it. Oh, we got a 1. Yay. That's magic, right? By the way, you catch this? What does Ken do? What does Ken do here? Buy effing buy, right? There's 90 and 150 and you're home for the day. That's a beautiful win, right? But let's pretend that we lose, because I think that's where the discussion has to happen, right? Let's say that you lose this, okay? We know that on a perfect run where the 4 got hit, right? It's a field win and the place win. It's 90 bucks. On the best possible case, it's 90 bucks. You lose 150, right? Or God forbid you lose the 300 over here. Lose 150 here, you got to win twice at minimum to catch that back. If it wasn't the 4, let's say it was the 5, it would have been a $35 win. Instead of 50 and 15, it would have been 35 minus 15. It would have been a $20 win, right? Is that math right? Right? 35 here minus 50, you would have won 20 bucks that time and then hedged off the 9 for 25. So your win would have been 45 bucks. That's a case that happens quite a bit in here, right? Where you win 40. 40 to get to 150, you need 4 of them, right? When it goes down, you need 4. So here's the question, right? And the question comes to the recovery system. I'm not putting it down or anything. I'm just saying the way that Ken played it, right? If he ever went down, right, he would either double this to go to 150, then 450, then 6, right? And then when it got to a number, oftentimes he would go in here and say, you know what? I'm not doing the place bets. I'm going to lay big and get it back. I'm going to double this up, lay bet to get it back. Even if you double this up and you go 50, 50, 60, 60, 50, 50 across, you're winning $70 here, minus potentially 30 in the field. So a net 40, or potentially a net 160. You're still only getting back about half of what you lost. The trick, I think, to why Ken won in this thing 95 times, okay? The 95 times, I'll bet you, and I should go back and watch them all, right? How many times did this win? I want to know the answer to that. How many times did this go to a number, right? Go across. How many times was this the reason why they won, right? How many times was it this? How many times was it the big fat lay with nothing out there? The recovery. And I think it's interesting because Ken and I had this conversation. I'm like, you know what? If you had just played rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, the don't with the across, the don't with the across, the don't with the across, right? Leveled it up, but just did the don't come to the number, go across, take a hit, turn it off. And then if you're at 450, you stay there until you're back to, come back down to 300, come back down to 150. If you had just done that the whole time and never did this big lay as a recovery or whatever, would it have been 95-0? Or would it have lost way back? And I think the answer is it would have lost way back, right? If you had just done 150 with the lay, go across, take your hit. If you lose this, go 300 with a cross, take your hit. And then come back down to 150, like ladder it down, ladder it up. If they had done that, I think it would never have got to 95-0 on the strength of just that one play. If you go down 150 or 300, or God forbid, like Ken did the other day, 450 and 900, you're never coming back 30, 40, or 40, 60, whatever dollars at a time. You have to do something else. And I think that to answer my own question, let me go back a screen. Let me go back to here. Give me a second to figure this out. Here and then here, right? There. To answer my own question, was it strategy or was it player? I think part of it is the strategy. I think there's a part of it that is, probably out of the 95 times, I'm gonna guesstimate about 60 of the 95 won the $100 on the first move, right? He got an ace deuce in the don't come. He got his couple of hits like we just did, right? I'll bet you 60 times that happened. I'll bet you 30 times it was because of the big lay on the 9 or the big lay on the number. The other day he had the Oh My Lanta episode where he put big lay bets on the 6 and the 8 and kept hitting them 7s, right? For big chunks. That's the gambler. That's the player making a choice, right? That would be Waylon, for example, going, you know what? I'm down in this strategy. I can't play that. I cannot recover $900 in losses 35 hours at a time. I got to do something different. Waylon would probably switch to something different for a minute, do like a 410 ladder or the no 410 ladder, something like that to catch back up and then come back to this. And what you find with a strategy like the retirement plan, to me, very much like the Dallas drawdown. When it works in a couple of rolls, like it should, set a point, don't come, go to a point, take a hit, and you're out. So 2 rolls in and you're out of here. When that works, it's a great way to collect a regular paycheck. When the Dallas drawdown works, it's a great way in 2 rolls to collect a regular paycheck. When they go down and they go down big, you cannot play for them little tiny wins to catch that thing back up again. You just can't do it. You cannot catch up with small wins, which is why I think Ken was 95-0, because Ken understands how to play the game. Ken understands what recovery looks like. Ken understands that you cannot try and recover a big loss with M&Ms. You got to go and chunk it up, chunk it up, chunk it up. That's why when he tweaked the horseman and said, look, if we lose the don't pass on the horseman, just go back out with the whole 300 and take your crack at it with a bigger hit. That's a better recovery than one chip at a time. I think Waylon does the same thing, right? Here's the thing. That strategy is cool, right? It's a 2 or 3 roll strategy. When it works, most of the time it works. But when it doesn't work, you got to be here. You got to use all the tools you have in your bag to recover from that thing. And I think that's what Ken showcased, was how he backed out of the real strategy and went to something totally different, right? To a normal don't pass type of thing with odds to get it back. And then you're back in the strategy. And the strategy is like paycheck, 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 paycheck. Oh shit. Let me go big lay. It worked. Paycheck, 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 paycheck. That's how it worked, right? The options that are in there. So do not, everybody, do not, please, look at some of these things you see on YouTube. I'm not saying this one here in particular. And go, oh, that strategy's great. I'm going to run that, right? There's more to it than just the strategy. There's more to this one. Let me go back down here. There's a lot more to this one. Sorry for the crookedness. Than just this. This strategy is so much more than a $150 don't come that travels with an across bet. This strategy is so much more than this right here. I wish I had more reds. That's not the strategy, right? That's a great way to make a paycheck. $50, do it again, $50, and you're bye-bye, right? That's what the strategy is. When it gets beat, and this will get beat, the shooter will roll a 5 and take 150 from you. Now you cannot go out there and do 150 and a cross and try and dink and dunk this freaking thing back to health. You can't. You got to go bam. You got to go 150 on the 8. You got to drop $300 on it and play the game. You got to do something, or you go out there 64 across and try hit a quick home run, right? This is the thing. I think the players, Waylon and Ken as a combo, as a duo, made that work because of the options that they explored and opened up for everybody. Some people saw that as a train wreck. Some people saw that as bullshit. Some people were bitching the whole time they never played it the same. I watched all the comments, right? The whole thing is, it is you, the player. If Jacob played this, right? If Jacob played this, he would do it different. If Jacob lost the 150 and the don't, he would play the next few differently than Ken did or than Waylon did, right? To me, it's like, when it works, it's great. And you collect, satisfied. When it doesn't work, that's where you come in. That's where the player comes in, right? Everybody does it differently. To me, that strategy is a great jumping point. It's a great starting point. You play it every day. You make your 100, 150. Cool, right? When it doesn't work, you got to jump in and be a real player. You got to, okay, now I got to actually crack my knuckles. Let's get this thing freaking going. Yep, follow me? That's the takeaway from that. If you watch all 95 shows, that should be your takeaway. Not that Ken and Waylon, struck a match and lit the world on fire. It's not the opening move that made it work. The opening move gives you the chance to make it work when it doesn't. And that's here. So I was very impressed by how Ken and Waylon both played it. And they both did lives. And I will back Ken up. For anybody who thinks, by the way, that Ken is not doing that shit live, he's doing it live. There's an episode somewhere. I mean, he jokes about it. There's 2 times. Once where he put a video up where in the middle of the video, he stopped to go to the bathroom during the video, and he still put the video up, right? One of those videos, I called him. I was on the phone with him, and he's like, oh, I'll call you later. I'm doing a video. Put the phone down, kept rolling it out, right? He's going live 100% of the time. Waylon did some lives during this thing too. So it's important to realize these guys are not bullshitting you. They're not. There's no skin in the game. There's no reason to bullshit you. They're going live. And Jacob's doing the same thing. Jacob's, I know for a fact, Jacob is like, turn the camera on, doing the thing, publishing whatever comes up. Sometimes he goes live, but it's hard to go live because we have lives. We have dinners and we have families and we have other things that are going on. You can't always go live at a good time. So, is what it is, guys. All right. Anyway, I was very impressed. That whole thing was fun to watch. It was good entertainment. And it's inspired me to go back and do another daily paycheck. Right? Remember, I did 270 something shows in a row where I made 90K. Doing that again. Walking is important. There you go, Tom. That's the words of the day right there. Walking is as important as gambling. It's such an important thing. Most don't have the bankroll, but Gary, you can do this. And I mean, don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed to go to the bubble. Where's my other view? Come on, get down there. Oh, you know what? I'm on the wrong screen. Hold on. Beep, beep. Nope, this way. There we go. Don't be ashamed to do it here, right? 150 becomes 15, right? And 30 or 300 becomes 30 on the 10 on the bubble. That's not that bad. That's not a terrible risk or spread. And if it goes to the 9, you get $15 here. right? You can just do dollars, man. Just go, 3, 6, 9, 12. Maybe you go $2 on the 4 and 10, right? 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 against 15 and put $1 in the field, right? That's totally fine on the bubble machine, right? You can do this with small bankroll if you're willing to make a couple of bucks, because what's going to happen when the 8 rolls, you're going to win $4 and lose $1. Your net up is $3 and you live the fight again. You can grind out $3, $4, or $5 for hours at a bubble machine doing this without a ton of risk. The worst you're going to risk is $30, right? If you ladder it, then you're at 30 and you're at 60. You can do these things at small. Oh no, I dropped all my chips. What an idiot. You can do these things at small numbers if you're okay with smaller wins, right? That's an important thing. If you're okay with a small win size, you can do it all day. Doesn't have to be black chips. So bubble craps allows all to have the bank. That's right. And I think, Jake, what is your number, Jacob? You say you want to have 100 times table minimum, right? That's kind of your thing, right? Bubble craps, you can do it. You can buy $300 on bubble craps where it's $1 minimum bet is like you're a millionaire. Like you can play all kind of things. So have fun with all that. Let me go check here. Get the keyboard back. I don't think there's any questions that came in, but yeah, 100 bets, right? Yep. Let's do Q's. There are no real questions. Oh wait. Louis says change the name, take out the pro, and try casino gaming prep. Ooh, that's interesting. Casino gaming prep instead of prep or academy. I don't know. I like that idea though. I do like that idea. Any other PCs? Yeah, you left after the big. You crushed. By the way, if you're not following VDT, I think you hit 100 ATS, $100 in the ATS 3 times, right? Is that correct? You hit 3 times. I know at least twice. I saw Facebooks where you had the black on the all, which is like crazy town. Wow. All right. Skill. I had all kind of fun stuff. I talked all kind of shit about you earlier too. I'm lying. So tomorrow, here's what's coming up. We're gonna do actually skill. You might want to email me later on today, and make sure that I have your the right bets. Why is my camera not working? Weird. Okay, it's weird. I'm gonna do the Mustang tomorrow. So skill and luck. Dylan has come up with a. He's like, hey, I want to tweak the Horseman, and he did, but it's no longer the Horseman. Like what he did to it. It's cool, but it's not the Horseman. The Horseman is hedgeless, which means there can't be any hedges in it, right? He has hedges all over the place. But it's a cool way to play. So we're going to try that tomorrow. We'll do it at the bubble craps level here on the table tomorrow. So we'll do skills Mustang tomorrow and maybe some other new interesting stuff. So that's tomorrow's plan. And in the meantime, of course, I will leave you with I left this quote last week, the one day. I thought it was funny. I'll leave it up here for this week. I like to give these little quotes before I leave because it's like, these things that kind of drive your life. Life is like a helicopter. I don't know how to operate a helicopter. I think most of us don't know how to operate life either, right? And I think you were all guessing every day. We're all guessing every day at what we're going through, and it's okay. Embrace it. Embrace it. Have fun with it, right? You shouldn't. I mean, helicopter, you can kill people, I guess, if you can't drive it. But in life, maybe you can too. I don't know. Just be careful out there. Have fun with your life. Enjoy the crazy. Enjoy the crazy. Do shit you don't know how to do. Have fun with it. Like, do different things. I'm 57 years old. I'm finally getting to do some different things, and it's good, right? With that said, I'll love every one of you guys. God bless. I will see you tomorrow morning. And for some of you, I'll see you in 2 weeks in person out there in Vegas for Craps for the Cure. In the meantime, go to crapsforthecure.com. Donate. See you in the morning, guys. Bye.